Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and we're back on the 996 Turbo X50, and today's job is to continue to fix the fuel issue. So you would have seen on the last video, we did the diagnostics across the fuel system, pressure testing, visible signs within the tank itself, but now we're going to dive in, we're going to take everything out, and we're going to actually see if it truly is the pump that's failed. Let's dive in. Okay everyone, so we're back at the front of the car, and here is the fuel pump and the sender unit as we started from the beginning in this video with, obviously we checked inside to see if any of the piping had split, which is a common cause and a common failure on these systems. So generally the pumps last, but those pipes give up the ghost, and that is what causes your low pressure and obviously misfiring and stopping of the engine, which is what I'm experiencing now. So the car won't start at all. So we've done the spark plugs, we've done the coil packs, all on previous video. We've done a pressure test. We've looked at the piping inside, it looks all good. So the only thing left now is potentially that this pump has given up the ghost and has failed. So we do have to remove all of this again, the sender unit out, the pump itself, which is in a swirl pot. Now, it is going to get messy because I've got about 3/4 of a tank and I just don't have the time, the tools to, drain it off. So I'm going to just dive in. It's just going to get a little bit messy. The swirl pot and the unit itself we can have a quick look at, because I have a new one here which is just coming from Porsche dealers themselves. So it's an OEM product, which is the best way to go, I think, when you're sort of messing around with fuel systems and that. You want these things to last as long as possible. Don't want to be doing this job too often. So it is an OEM part, and as some of you with a keen eye might notice, that the piping on these are slightly different from the manufacturing ones that came, or manufactured ones that came out of the factory with the car. So there was a black pipe, black hose, which is the bit that generally fails when you think your fuel pump has failed. It's actually the pipe that's split. On these, it's all this plastic piping now. So is it any better? Who knows? Probably. Time will tell, I guess. So that is the new unit that is going to go in. And now we have to start removing the locking top, get out the sender unit, and then get messy with the pump itself and start disassembling. I have obviously disconnected the battery and taped it off just to make sure. Don't want any accidents when we're messing around with fuel. So let's get removing this lot. Okay, so you would have seen me remove the locking bracket nut on the top, and this is the fuel sender unit. And what we have to do now, if you can see there, is the pipes coming in to the unit. We need to unplug those, and the electrical connector there. So once we remove those, the unit can then slide out completely. So let's get removing those. Okay, so the sender unit is now removed, and that is all in good condition, so no issues there, which I'm very happy with. Over to the tank again and inside the pump, and this is what it looks like. So yeah, it looks a bit daunting, I have to say, because there's all sorts of weird and wonderful pipes in and around there with electrical wires, so for most it might be a little bit off-putting, but this is the unit there that we have to remove, and that is the pipe I was talking about earlier that generally fails and splits. That one actually looks in really good condition, as we looked at earlier on in the video, but the pump itself is what we think has failed. So I now need to remove this, and the idea is that we're going to turn it anti-clockwise. It should click out of place, and then there's connecting pipes. If I can just zoom in that side, and also going off that side as well, bit hard to see, I know, but those are the ones that go down each side of the tank. So it's the pickups. So we have to remove those from the pump itself, and they're like little push. They're like little push releases. So this was the one that was joined to the sender unit, and as you can see, it's a little push that side and that side to release them. So they're very easy. It just can be a little bit finicky, I guess, to get your hands inside, because it's not a very big hole, and everything has to come out of there like in a perfect way, because I think the pump literally is the size of the hole. So yeah, you've got to remove everything or disconnect everything, and then hopefully not lose any of the pipes going down the side of the tank and stuff, which yeah, hopefully that won't happen. So let's try and remove this this fuel pump. I'll give it a little turn, which you won't be able to see because of the camera. Just, you know, I can't do the camera and that at the same time, but hopefully you'll see me then releasing the pump and bringing it up through that hole. Okay, so I just wanted to talk through a few more bits in this before I actually bring it out of the tank, because I don't know how much this stuff is documented. I certainly looked at a lot of forums, and yeah, there's some good tutorials, but it really depends on the model you have. So if you've got a standard 911, 996, that's non-turboed, depending on whether it's two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, all of that good stuff. So I just thought, look, it makes sense to just show you what I'm going through here. Now, the first thing to point out, if that will zoom in, you see those two, they look yellow. They are actually two brackets, and it's a little push button where the back yellow pieces meet there, just in front of that yellow wire, where it looks like it's like a clamp around the pipe. Just there, there's two little push, I guess, buttons that lock it onto the back of the pump. And that one is for the right hand side as you're facing the car head on, and that one there at the back on the left is for the left hand side, and they're the two pickup pipes that I was saying. But they also, if you can just see there, let me just see if I can point, that black connector there, again, it's a little push. It's a very, very, I don't want to drop the phone in the tank, but you can just make out the grey button there just on the top of that black connector, and again, it's a push on that side and a push on this side, so not where the clamp is, one either side, which are both connected to those pickup pipes that go down either side of the tank. For a turbo four-wheel drive, that's the shape of the tank that is fitted, so that's why you have these two types of pickups either side. They both have to be connected from the back of the pump and on top, just there. So it's just a really helpful piece. Also, this black thick pipe here, which runs, let's see if I can get there, you can see it, it's sort of a part of I think it's an overflow. I could be wrong, someone can keep me real on that one, but to me it looks like an overflow, and it slots into the top of the pump there, as you can see. So you just have to pull it out. It's not connected, it's simply just slotted in. So it could be the filler. Actually, yeah, ignore me, it's the filler. So it comes in from as you fill your tank up, it looks like it goes down through there and then into the tank. So yeah, that's what that is. And again, that filler just needs to be pulled out the top of the fuel pump itself. So, or the swirl pot, I should say, which is that orange unit there. So now I will disconnect those two pipes that I've just told you. I've done the clips on the back, those two yellow ones there, now removed and just sitting there. Those two on top now need to be removed, and the whole unit should, fingers crossed, come out nice and smoothly. Okay, so here are all the parts from the fuel tank. It is a spaghetti western that looks extremely daunting when you first open up the locking nut on the tank and you lift out the sender unit and you see all of this going on and you just think, wow, okay. Now the first thing I should say is that taking it easy step by step really is the way to do this. As much as it does look daunting, it does make, you know, smooth sailing, and generally everything goes together pretty easily. You know, a bit of common sense, and you sort of get to see how things work. So let's just walk around this actual pump itself, just so you get a feel for it. So these are the two connectors that join to the sender unit just here. Underneath, you saw me take those apart earlier. The pipes then come down to the actual unit itself. And the first thing we will look at is the back of the unit, because that is where I was saying about those clips. So if I just show here, they slide into there and slide into there on the back, and literally you push where these two holes are. So push, pull out to the right, push, pull out to the left, and those two slot out nice and easy. Likewise, those two connectors on the top, the two inlet and outlet pipes there from those side pickups. Again, it's a very, very small push button, very much like these two here. You just literally push like so, and off it slots and off it slots. Once those are out the way and the pickups are out the way and you've disconnected them off the back, you literally are looking at the unit like this in the tank, and it is simply a turn of about 15 degrees or so counterclockwise, and it clips out of the holding unit which is attached to the tank itself. Once that's out, you lift straight up, bring all these pipes with you, and it will come out. Now it will get stuck because of this, which is really a seal that sits around the edge of, and I'll just run over here quick, it just sits around the edge of the actual tank itself. So you can buy these, and bizarrely I was quoted for a new one of these at £25 just for a rubber seal, and mine is in perfectly good condition, so I didn't need to splash out on the extra 25, so that's all good. Now the big question is, how do we test to see if it had failed? Now, like I said, it's usually this pipe here that fails, or the black pipe there. Now, the first thing I thought when I looked in earlier on this video is it looked all good and I could feel it and it was fine. But as I've taken it out of the tank and it started to, I guess the fuel started to leave the pipes, it started to feel really squishy. And then on closer inspection, look at this. There it is. Can you see that? Let's see if that will zoom in. It's not going to do it, is it? But I think you can see there the massive split in the pipe. And that is the failure point on these pumps. It's not the actual pump that's failed, it's the piping. So that one is completely opened up. And on closer inspection of this one as well, let's see if I can get this. You can see there as well, look, if that's going to zoom in. I don't think it's going to, is it? But just there, where it looks like the diamond, it's actually split there as well. So it's split in two places, but this one being the main one just underneath there, I mean, yeah, that's not going to get any pressure of fuel to your engine, and it is all just going to pile back out into the engine, into the fuel tank itself. So I have the failure point that many speak about on the forums, which are the pipes themselves. It's not the pump. The pump is good. So potentially the pump and the swirl pot can be rescued. And how have they fixed the issue of these pipes with the new one? Well, there it is. As you can see, there's none of the rubber piping now. It's all of this sort of hard plastic that's expandable in certain ways, and this is the Y junction that they've put on with clips, so you're not going to get any of the black rubber piping issues that split and degrade over time. So My car's done about, what, 40 odd thousand miles. It's been in there since 2003, so it's done, yeah, it's done a fair innings. It's done a good old 20 years or so. But that's the cause there, everyone. Look, that lovely big split right across the black pipe there. So we will now fit the new one. We'll submerge that in, twist it. As you can see, the little connectors either side, which are the same on this pump either side. Everything looks as it should. Everything is exactly the same, so no issues there. It really is just a case of refitting this one now and plugging it all back together and plumbing it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we have a running Porsche 996 Turbo again. Okay, let's get going. Right, so you would have seen the pump being slid back into the tank with the swirl pot. It's a really tight hole, so you know, once it's gone in, there's not much to see, so I thought it would be better just to show you once it's in situ. So here you can see the pump is now in place. Is there a couple of tips here, I guess, on how to best fit this? I found it easier to fit the clip on this side and the all the setup for this side of the pump first. Then I found the bracket that the pump actually fits into. I slotted that in and then gave it the twist by 15 degrees to lock it in place. And then I fitted the other side, which is there. So you can see both sides are now clipped in, and also you can see the colour in the actual plastic pipe is now locked in there, as it is on that side as well. So those are now both in place. And then the filler cap, or the filler pipe, is now back into the top, which is that bit that we were unsure of a little bit earlier, that you can just see coming down through there, which is now installed back into the top of the pump. So that's in situ, it's locked in, all the connecting pieces are in place, so that is good, nothing to worry too much about now. So it's reinstalling this part, which is for the sender unit, and the sender unit itself again has to slot in and twist and then line up with these three dots here, and there's a little arrow on the top of the sender unit that allows you to do that. So it's sort of, you come in, slight twist, push and lock. But we'll get the rubber O-ring or seal on to the tank itself, and then we'll lock all that in place. Okay, so just before I put this all back together in the tank, I thought I'd just do the last bit, which is the electrical connector to the unit that measures your fuel. The sender unit is connected, as are the two push pipes as well. Again, those two push button pieces there. It literally just slots on, nothing else to do there. That is all now ready to go back into the unit itself, or into the tank I should say itself. Now, it's a little bit of fettling just to find the position, but as I said earlier, you've got this. Let's see if this is gonna just give you a better, clearer position there. You see this point, this arrow, that just needs to twist nicely and line up right with that middle line there. You see those three dots there, the middle one is where we have to line it up. So I'm going to play with this a little bit and get it all lined up, locked in, and then we can put the locking nut back on the top. Okay, so that is the sender unit all in place and all connected, and as you can see, that arrow it will just give me a good bit of focus. You can see there it's just lined up with the center line of those 3 lines there on the tank. So that is all in situ perfectly. All the bits are connected. I am having to remove these again just to put the locking nut on, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like in place and all lined up and ready to go. But that is the fuel pump swirl pot all replaced now, and with the sender unit back in place and everything locked down. So what I need to do now, refit the locking nut, the cover, reconnect the battery, put all the bits and pieces, covers and everything back together, and then fingers crossed we'll give it its first start, and hopefully, all being well, it's solved the issue of non-start and everything should fire up perfectly and we should have a good runner. So let's get putting all this back together. Okay, so you can hear that the car is running, and it's been running now for about 5 minutes and everything is going great. Stuck my ear on top of that part there. You can hear the pump doing what it should be doing. Let's go inside the car. And the first thing that you notice, let's put some lights on in here. There we go. Just first thing you notice obviously is the fuel gauge. Let's turn the actual lights on. Fuel gauge is working perfectly, so just over, or just about 3/4 of the tank, which I knew it had. Ticking over beautifully, just under 1,000 revs as it should. And if we give it a quick rev and then up to 3, beautiful, no hesitation, as it should be. Very, very happy. We have fixed the issue with the misfire. It's got new coils, it's got new spark plugs, it's got a new fuel pump, and that is all working in harmony. Can't wait to get it back on the road. Got to get it in for an MOT and off running. So that's how you fit a new fuel pump and swirl pot to a Porsche 996 Turbo X50. So everyone, that's a wrap. We got it fixed. The engine is running as it should be. The fuel system is running as it should be. So it was all down to those 2 little pipes that are well documented in many of the forums where they split and fail. And it's not necessarily the pump itself, it's just the pipe work. So we have the new fuel pump in and fitted. Everything is working as it should be. So very happy with that. So if you've enjoyed this video, or the 2-part video about how you fault find and go through the process of getting the engine running, potentially with any type of fuel issue, then Please, let me know your comments down below. Please also subscribe if you like the videos that I'm putting out. It does help me out. And also follow me on Instagram. As always, thanks for the support. And the next videos will be along very soon.